All right. Hello, hello. Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So right now I'm going to be doing a reading for Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, also for your cross watchers. I had asked your collective energy what this reading is going to be about. And I saw the saddest visual of you, Cancer, holding on real tight to something. I don't know if it's a person or a circumstance, holding on real tight, and that fight ends up shattering your pinchers. Makes me kind of sad, actually. Makes me kind of sad. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle my cards one more time and start pulling cards for you guys. Oh, that's what I'm saying. So what I know about Cancers is that when you love someone, when you count them as family, love them like family, whether it's a friendship, a romance, an actual familial tie, a business thing, as long as you put that label of family on them, it's like you would go to the ends of the world for that. And it's kind of what's causing you to suffer a little bit more than what you actually should. Okay. The pain is a little bit more than what's necessary for you to learn the lesson. And that's simply because that's what's being chosen right now. So let's get you guys some more cards. I want to give you guys as much clarity as possible so that you can get whatever confirmations you need. See, that's it. It's told to look down. That's it. That's it. All right. Oh, God. Okay. That's okay. That's okay. We're going to figure this out. We're going to figure this out together. But there is an influence that's occurring. One that we'll explore. We'll definitely explore this. And it's occurring with the whole Mercury thing, so it's really amplifying. All right. Okay. You really are being provoked, but it's an internal thing. Hold on. Let me just finish getting cards. Dang. This is intense. All right. Oh, did I get from there? No, I didn't. Oh, I'm injured. My elbow's injured. Okay, let me just. Who would have thought that you need your elbow to shuffle? It's fine. All right. Just fix these cards. Final deck. There's a whole lot of bitch slapping going on. Oh, shit. Okay. Focus. Focus, Em. Focus. So here is what's going on, okay? You found yourself in a circumstance that's very difficult. Very, very difficult. This circumstance can be romantic. It can be familial. It can be a friendship. It can be a work circumstance. It really can be anything, okay? Card number 10, releasing allegiances. You're going to need to let go of your perception of how this was supposed to work out, All right. It's not going to work out the way you were planning. So it's time for you to let go of that. You've allowed yourself to fully commit to this perception of how everything is going to pan out, and it's not. It's just not. Notice how her skin is kind of cracked and peeling. I don't know if you can see that. So you're needing to shed whatever outer layers of pretense you have cloaked on top of you. That's not your reality anymore. Whatever was going on, it's done. It's done. It needs to be let go of. So you've shackled yourself to that expectation. Okay, you've become so disappointed for the cancers that this resonates with, and it's not going to resonate with all cancers. If you're not immediately feeling like, yeah, oh my God, yes, this is me, then don't try and make it fit, because this is going to be a fairly difficult reading. Okay, so you have shackled yourself to that disappointment that you felt, and you can let that go now. Okay, now it's time to focus on you, love on yourself, allow yourself to just really let go of the layers that are no longer serving any purpose in your journey. This circumstance is bittersweet because it's really helping you to let go, which, you already know on some level it's been time to let go, but it was just scary. And then you probably were feeling like, I can't just give up. I have to keep trying. I have to see if I can make this work, and it's not working. Okay, whether that be work, a friendship, a relationship, whatever it is, if this is resonating, just know it's not working. You haven't failed. You haven't given up. It's just time to let go. Now, the reason why it's so difficult to let go with all those thoughts that are really shaming you and guilting you into continuing to perpetuate this cycle, this card popped up. Card number 29, Lilith, Independence. Now, Lilith has many opposing fractals of that energy. Every single energy has both a light and a dark aspect to it. I believe it's the dark aspects of this Lilith energy that is causing you to fear your own independence, causing you to really, really buy into some belief that you've failed, that you've given up, that you're somehow a bad person if you don't continue with this cycle. That's an illusion. Okay, that is an illusion. There is a parasitic influence that's really, really messing up the way you are seeing this circumstance that you're currently in. Now, if you allow yourself to move forward from this parasitic Lilith type of distortion, you'll be able to enter a state of green Tara, salvation, card number 17. Look at their facial expressions. Look at the difference. There's a huge difference. Does this I don't know. I mean, you're gorgeous and everything, boo-boo. You really are. You're gorgeous and everything. Loving the red hair. I do have a red hair fetish. But boo, you look wicked as fucking this. Your intentions do not look honorable. You just, go look hot somewhere else. I'm just saying, leave Cancer alone, because you're really fucking up their path. Okay, I take that back. You're not fucking up their path. You're encouraging them to continue to fuck up their own path. We take accountability. Just as you can choose to continue to really affect your own path in a negative way, you can also choose to save yourself the trouble of having to rebuild everything, because if you remove yourself from the destruction now, you don't have as much destruction. But if you want to wait until the very end, then you'll have a shit ton that you're going to have to fix within yourself. And it's not because you're broken, it's because it's created a huge mess, and you're going to have to make some order of it again. And that's fine. That's a part of people's journeys. Okay. Sometimes you don't get a clean home until you're like really frantically cleaning because the landlord's coming to do a walkthrough. I'm just saying. So really though, once that stressful circumstance is done, the walkthrough is over, guess what? You're left with an impeccably clean home, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So this is kind of what this circumstance you're in is doing. It's forcing you to clean house. Okay, it's forcing you to clean house, get rid of the things that you know are toxic, but because of the parasitic circumstance, you're feeling obligated to continue with that. And really, the parasitic circumstance is gifting you with the opportunity to realize and choose, consciously choose yourself, your sanity, your self-love, self-compassion, self-respect before something that you've, labeled family. So just keep that in mind, okay? Keep that in mind. This is not about pointing out how you're messing up and you're wrong. And no, this is about recognizing this moment, this circumstance for what it is. An opportunity gifted to you by your soul to potentially choose yourself first. Cancer, you almost never choose yourself. You're always accommodating someone else. And it's time for you to receive the gift of choosing you. All right. So card number 47, Grand Cross, Provoker. That's what she's doing. She's provoking you. What do you have in the crosshairs? This is a Grand Cross. What do you have in the crosshairs? Is it someone else? Is it yourself? What is it? If it's not you, then you're aiming at the wrong thing. You're targeting the wrong thing. You should be your own target. Your goal should be your growth. No one else's. Not to heal someone else, not to save someone else. You should be the target. So let's see. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. What are you going to choose for your life? The Grand Cross is an area of tension in a chart, thus becoming a great catalyst for movement and change. This is your opportunity to completely shift the trajectory of your life. Let's see. This indicates a period of time when your life may seem at a cross purpose. Usually when a Grand Cross occurs, it indicates a crisis. Yet, through this calamity will be a painful process of growth, then renewal, and eventually a greater foundation for happiness and success. As long as you continue to hold on and identify with this crisis situation, you are in a situationship. You have developed a bond with a situation. Let that go. Okay, let that go. Whether that situation involves a romantic relationship, platonic relationship, business relationship, it doesn't matter. It's a situationship. You've bonded with the trauma of that circumstance, and it's time to allow that provocation to set you free. This has to do with the Nine of Wands. It's about pressure, discipline, frustration, growth, and defensiveness. Competition, victory. Cancer, you're your only competition. Oh, shit. Okay, so that visual that I got before I started your reading, you were holding on to something, and there was chaos, like your pinchers. And then next thing you know, one of your pinchers snapped and it broke. And I was like, oh shit, that's some major self-destruction. And I just got right now, you are the one provoking yourself. You are fighting with yourself. Nothing was trying to be taken away from you. It's this realization in this moment. Wow, I have Cancer in my chart. It's a pretty prominent placement too. You're like fighting, and then boom, you broke your own fucking hand. I broke my fucking, so wrist and elbow problems. Yeah, no, I'm doing it to myself. Well, shit. You snatched it, and the force of, you pulling one way and the other way and the other way and the other way. Yeah, you broke your shit. I broke my shit. Wow, that's profound. Wow. The need to be more flexible, encountering resistance, time for healing, time for reasoning, feeling hurt, victimization, feeling misunderstood, a realistic look at the future, going through the motions, unfavorable time to act on impulse. And I think that's what's occurring is the impulse of you have something in your grasp already, and one half of you jerked it. I don't know why. And so the other half reacted and tried to jerk back, and that jerk triggered the other side. And so it became a tug of war within yourself. Yes, the mind and the soul. Wow. Between the mind and the heart. So, Cancer, you do have a habit of having a blockage in the throat space. You don't talk about your needs very often. That's a misalignment between the mind and the heart, because that's the center space, right? The throat. So maybe the mind and the heart is moving. I wouldn't be surprised if you're having throat issues then. If you're currently struggling with, sore throat, strained vocal cords, thyroid issues, things like that. Those are often indicators of a throat chakra blockage. You should definitely work on the throat chakra. You have to allow yourself to realign all your parts once again. Allow the realignment to occur. I'm being told this situationship is actually the process of realignment, and we are resisting it. So that's why we're struggling. That's why it's an unnecessary struggle that we're experiencing. So look at that, Six of Love. Oh, it's the same message. There's the mind and the heart fighting over the alignment. And there's your higher self, kind of just like, what the fuck's going on? So focused on what the fuck is going on. Everything is being emptied out of the cup. Okay? Your cup is being emptied, not because you're being punished, but because you're preparing to be replenished, refilled. So allow for the process. Allow for the process. Oh, yeah. Mother and daughter relationships are tricky ones. Very, very tricky ones. Something you might want to consider if you're struggling with a mother-daughter type of dynamic. What I've come to understand for me personally, sometimes the daughter is an outward manifestation of the mother's inner child. And so if you can recognize your inability to understand or see or flow with your daughter, oftentimes is rooted with your unwillingness to address the needs of your own inner child, that might give you enough clarity and flexibility to begin repairing that relationship with her. Okay. And it's not that the mother is wrong. It's not that the daughter is wrong. It's that there's a misalignment that prevents them from actually seeing eye to eye and having clarity, enough clarity to understand each other and where the other is coming from, where the wounds are located, so that you have a better understanding of why they're lashing out in the way that they are. You mothers and daughters are, man, I don't have any daughters. I think creation knew that shit will be a death match. Ooh, my mama is a whole nother level of badass. She had to deal with me. She'd just be like, you need to go brush your hair. I don't want to. I'm not brushing my hair. Oh, this is the wrong card. Oh no, this is the wrong book. So yeah, it's definitely movies portray that in such a way where it's like mother-daughter relationship. You're supposed to be best friends. That's the natural order of things. And if that's not what you have, then you've failed as a mother and as a daughter. And that's just not the reality of things. Yeah, breastfeeding is natural, but it's fucking hard to do, especially if you've never breastfed before. So just because something appears to be portrayed as natural, it doesn't make it easy. Definitely. And the struggles between a mother and a daughter often go very, very deep. Very, very deep. Let me see. So card number 8, the circle. That's a whole lot of soft slaps going. Soft slapping. That's beautiful. You have a good relationship with your daughter. That's beautiful. And I'm pretty sure it has to do with the relationship you had with your own mother. So it's a lot of generational ancestral stuff that gets carried over. I had originally a very difficult relationship with my mother, and because she had a very difficult relationship with her mother was able to dictate to her everything. And unfortunately, she birthed a wild-ass child who can't be told what to do. You have to reason with me, and she wasn't accustomed to that. She couldn't understand my uniqueness as an individual, and she attempted to reestablish the type of relationship she had with her mother, and I fought that. To the bloody fucking end. I fought that shit. And when I came back, when we reconnected last year, I recognized that I was basically an outward reflection of her inner child, and I didn't need to take her behaviors personally, because she was able to just continue to absorb the things that her mother would say and do. And her mother's not a bad person. She's not a bad person. I'm not a bad person. These are cycles we need to become aware of. And when I came back, I was aware of those cycles. And when she tried to reestablish those cycles, I was like, you can do that by yourself. I'm not leaving. You're not running me off. I'm here, and I'm going to just love on you. I'm going to establish boundaries, though, but I'm going to love on you. I'm not going to be mad anymore. You don't have to continue that cycle of hurt because you're afraid that I'll walk away. I'm not walking away. And that's when everything shifted between myself and my mom, and we became very, very close. Very, very close. I no longer had to carry the weight of the pain of the things that she said and did when I was a child, because that's what made me really, really bitter towards her, because I didn't understand that I was a representation of her inner child. And she couldn't understand why I was able to do what she wasn't able to do, which was have a voice, have a say, be strong in my own light and my own truth. So you have to really recognize where things are rooted. It's not always the other person. Just like with this Cancer reading, I was under the impression it was something outside of us that was causing the break in our pincher, because we were fighting something so hard, only to realize that was an internal fight. We broke ourselves. And maybe we broke ourselves to allow more of our light out, because we have so many walls up and we're funneling all of this energy to specific individuals, because we have a habit of overly accommodating people who we label as family. And really, though, we're here as a gift for everyone that crosses our path, not just specific individuals. So you have to let your light shine through all the way. You have to let go of this perception that you can control something in that way. You know, you have to allow more of your light to escape through your armor, your shell. So the circle, card number 8, unification, interconnectedness, and a sense of continuum is what this card implies. The circle reminds us we are all one, dancers in a unified, continuous, inclusive circle. See what I'm saying? We are all one. Our internal struggles are mirrored by the people who are brought to us, so that we can bring our attention to that very struggle. And that was the only way I was going to ever heal that rift with my mom. That was the only way she was ever going to allow herself to heal from the hurt of having a daughter that she perceived to be more powerful than her. It's a beautiful thing when you can allow your healing to be witnessed by others so they can heal themselves. And in the final year of her life, she had lived her life, her entire life, allowing other people to decide everything for her, including what she wore. Everything was decided for her. She had no say. And her final year of life, due to my teachings, she learned to say, fuck you. She would be on video chat with my, sorry, brother, with my brother, and he would tell her something, because that's their relationship. And that's right, Mom, use your other finger. If you can't hold that hand up, use your other finger. And I said, that's right. You tell him, fuck you. You don't want to do it? No, say no. If that's not what you want to do, that's not what you're going to do. And it was simply by observing me being unapologetic for being who I am. Not being malicious, but just being who I am and not allowing other people to try and dominate me. And so if you are who you are, embrace that. Just embrace that. Allow yourself to recognize you're part of a circle. You are part of the circle, in the circle, not something outside of the circle, Cancer. You don't always have to be focused on trying to maintain the circle. You are in the circle. The circle is inclusive. It includes you. And so you should be on the top of that list of the names of people that you take care of. Okay? This card reminds us of the cycles of life and the evolving self, ever changing and always connected. Human, spirit, nature, the cosmos, all intrinsically connected. When this card appears, it reminds you that you're connected to everything and everyone, including to spirit. Spirit's essence beats in your heart and inspires you to co-create your world, knowing that you count, that you have purpose in this world. You matter. You absolutely matter. And, trying to hold on to something that is hurting you, it's just another way of you punishing yourself. Trying to find ways to justify the self-punishment, the self-imposed punishment, okay? So let's go, Cancer. Man, oh man. So card number 3, look at the bees. Allow them to inspire you to blossom, okay? You're going to need to allow this to happen. Now, you also had bees in the very first card. Those bees are bittersweet. They can offer you honey, but they can also sting you. But guess what? All of that is a necessary component of your blossoming. Many flowers cannot continue their cycles, which was this card. The circle is about cycles. They cannot continue their cycles without being pollinated by the bees. So sometimes the bees are necessary to touch us in ways that no other thing can. And those moments that touch us to our core are often the moments that end up causing us to blossom and bloom. All right? So this is all a process. Now, card number 25, Kali, liberation. It's in that destruction that you will find your liberation. You will find your freedom. Kali is known to be a very dark, destructive force, and it's very much villainized, made to be something evil. But in reality, in order for a new beginning to occur, there must first be an ending. All right. Allow the old you, the old life, the old connections to perish. Allow it to die, mourn its death, and allow the rebirth to occur. Allow it. Allow yourself to be freed. I get this visual that you're afraid of the destruction because you don't know what's left. You don't know what will be left. Will there be anything that's usable left? Absolutely. You're scared of the chaos, but what did we come from? From what did creation emerge? From the cosmos, right? Cosmos is chaos. From chaos is birthed order. So this is a rebirthing that you're going through. And if you've never had a child, if you've never given birth to a child, I will tell you firsthand, whether you get an epidural or not, that shit fucking hurts. It hurts real bad, real bad. And I've given birth with an epidural for my first one and without any medication for all my other kids. And everything hurt, but all of it was worth it. What hurt more than the birth was the recovery, because the birth took a long time. I was in labor for like a day and a half straight. And yeah, that was nothing compared to the 3-4 weeks it took for me to heal. And my back was never the same. And that's fine. That's fine, because what came from that is so ridiculously beautiful and has enriched my life in ways that no other event in my life could do. So recognize the events in your life right now for what they're doing. They're rebirthing you. You're in a birthing process. It's messy, it's painful, it's confusing, it's scary. but it doesn't last forever. It doesn't last forever. And if you want to medicate, I'm not trying to bash women who choose to be medicated during labor, but just know it makes the labor take longer. It complicates things. If you try and rush your birthing process, like hospitals try and rush a mother's birthing process by inducing using Pitocin, that fucks things up tremendously. It causes a tremendous amount of complications. Okay? So you can't rush it. You can't rush it. When you're fully present and you feel all the pain and the pressure of this impending rebirth, it was when it was the most painful and I didn't think I could tolerate any more pain that I began to push. I began to push back because I was like, I can't just lay here and try and breathe and relax through this pressure and this pain. And that's actually when the ring of fire engages and the baby's head begins to travel down the birth canal. That's the most painful part, yet that's the fastest. All the other pains that lead up to it are nothing compared to that part, but that's the part where you're actually coming out. And I think that's what's going on right now. This is the most painful part of your rebirthing process, and it's because you're right there. The head is engaged. You can see it from the outside. You just need to push through. Push through. Don't rush yourself. Push with the movement, and you'll find that card number 14, Taurus, I have that you've done it. You've taken ownership of your journey, of your life, and you have created something so beautiful for yourself. It's going to be a process. You're still going to have to heal from this. You're still going to have to recover. You're going to be sore. But man, Four of Wisdom, you'll be so much wiser. You'll have survived one of the most difficult periods of your life. If this is resonating with you, this is probably one of the most difficult periods you've ever experienced in your life to date. And you're not walking out of this empty-handed. You have your things with you, okay? You have your nourishment, you have your knowledge, you have a little bit of shelter within your own heart space. So allow yourself to take this trip deep into yourself. The Mystical Shaman, card number 38. Wow, look at that. From within you comes an elevated version of yourself. Allow yourself to rise. Allow yourself to become your own shaman. Allow yourself to recognize what these cycles are really doing. They're taking you to higher levels and layers of you, elevating your dimensional level of consciousness. Hold on, let's see. Card number 32, faith in the process. You're finally naked in your own truth. You've been exhausted. You've been depleted. You're feeling like you just can't get through this. Guess what? If you can't walk, that's fine, because your spiritual team will carry you. It'll carry you. Have faith in your process. Trust in your higher self and your spiritual team to get you through this. And it's okay if you're tired. If you're tired, it means you have been putting in the work, the effort. That's all that means. It doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean your failure is imminent. It means you have been fully present in the events of your life that are very dark and destructive, but ultimately leads to your liberation. All right? So that's what's going on right now. You're liberating yourself. Card number 61, water. Allow yourself to flow. Don't be afraid of drowning in your own depths. You're water. You're a water sign. You don't drown. Crabs are in the water. Crabs are filter feeders. You have to filter out whatever it is you're feeding your soul. You can't just allow anything in. And I think that's probably one of the biggest portions of the lessons you're learning right now, Cancer. We're learning to filter out the things that are not digestible, the things that aren't going to nourish us. This is a period of learning what to allow in and what to filter out. And it's not a failure on your end just because you're needing to filter out relationships, connections with other people. That's not a failure. That's actually a triumph. No longer being a doormat, no longer being a garbage can, people just throwing whatever the fuck they want into it. That's not your job, to hold all of other people's toxicity. That is not your job. That's not why you were created and put on this earth, to be someone's garbage can, garbage disposal. I don't fucking think so. Nope. Card number 28, revelation. That might be the great revelation. This recognition that you're more than just a receptacle for people's garbage. Filter that shit out. That's not yours. That is not yours. You don't have to bend over backwards to accommodate the preferences of people who lack the consideration to understand. You also have needs, regardless of how silent you are about those needs. You have needs that exist. And why do you keep bending over backwards for them, anticipating their needs when they refuse to acknowledge that you have any? And this is not encouraging you to be tit for tat. This is about realizing when things are not reciprocated. And when I say things, I'm talking about respect. Is it a mutual level of respect? Is this connection mutually beneficial? Because if not, then it's not balanced, and creation is asking you, begging you to once again reestablish balance in your life. You have to balance. You have to. When things are not in balance, that's when disease occurs. That's when sickness, illness, all of that, when it occurs. Ace of Love, your cup is going to be refilled. Right now, you're still in the process of it being empty. Just because it's empty doesn't mean the cup was taken from you. You still have a vessel to be filled. And once you're done with this, you will be refilled. Excuse me, is that an eagle? Are you rising up? See? And there you go. In all directions, you rise. Okay? You're not going to be left depleted. You're not going to be left in a state of lacking. You have to make sure you allow yourself to receive, though, because your soul can want to give as much as it does, but nothing happens unless you give permission to receive it. You have the ability to block that abundance out, abundance in all its forms. And you can't really be mad at anyone if you're the one that's blocking the abundance. So let me see. Hold on. Here. So the Ace of Love card, home, family, feast, nourishment, good cheer, good news, transcendence, love. So you're going to be entering a beautiful phase of your life as soon as you release this ugly part, okay? And sometimes you need the ugly in there so that you can have a better understanding of what your definition of beautiful is. You know, things that I consider beautiful, not everyone would consider beautiful. You know, like not everyone would agree. And that's okay. I don't need them to agree. That's my perception. Just like what your perception of a beautiful life is, has nothing to do with anyone else's perception of a beautiful life. So card number 16, Cancer, I feel. Allow yourself to finally feel it all. Feel everything. Be fully present in all directions of your life. Feel it all. Feel all the lessons that are coming. Don't be afraid of your growth. Let me see. Okay. Your feelings are your God. The soul is your temple. Rely upon the wisdom of what you feel right now. Cancers have a depth of feeling not easily seen, as if in the deepest parts of the ocean, fathoms below the surface, but where there is great power. Your vulnerability is your superpower. It's not a weakness. Your feelings are a part of your intuition. They guide you so beautifully through the maze of your life. You could be blindfolded, but if you go by feeling, the truth of your feeling, recognizing where those feelings are rooted, you can accomplish beautiful, beautiful things. You can make tremendous progress on this adventure called life, but only if you allow yourself to feel. If you're not going to allow yourself to feel, well, you're still going to feel it, but you're just going to be in denial. And that denial cuts you off from the guidance those emotions are gifting you with. If it doesn't feel right, if it feels like it hurts too much, unnecessarily, why are you there? Why are you holding on? To prove something to someone else? Fuck everyone else. They're going to have their opinions of you anyways. It's the people who can't respect the fact that you have boundaries and are now understanding your worth and that you don't have to be everyone's maid, nanny, caretaker. Those are the people who have been using you. Those are the people who you will never be able to give enough of yourself to satisfy them, because they are consumers. All they do is consume, demand, consume. No, enough is enough. You've gotten enough from me. Yes, I'm able to give, but I'm not willing to. And there's no shame and no guilt in that. Understanding that just because you're able to give doesn't mean you have to be willing to, and that's okay. That's okay. Love on the people who you can be that way with, and they can understand and respect it. Where they have no real expectation of you giving unnecessarily, overly giving. Those are the people that you need to really love on. The other people, let them be who they are on their own. You don't have to correct them. You don't have to fix them. You don't have to provide for them. None of that. Okay, Cancer? Let's get you a final message from your soul. Final message. I'm going to look at my mom's chart. I wonder if she had Cancer in her chart today. Wondering. Okay, one more. Oh, Cancer. All right. This is probably how you're feeling. Card number 13, arise. Wings of hope languish from lack of use. When wings dissipate and weaken, life begins to lose its value. If they're not willing to grow with you, grow without them. That's the bottom line. If they're not willing to grow with you, grow without them. You don't need someone else's permission to grow. You don't need to wait for someone to give you permission to stretch your wings and fly. You were given those wings by creation for a reason. The fact that you own a pair of wings means you've already been given permission by the highest authority within creation. If you aren't meant to fly, you wouldn't have wings. So, fly. Please do give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe, turn on that notification bell. Join me whenever I'm live. Bye, guys.